Hi everybody, I hope the videos are helping. This video is going to be about just how to get around the screen and show different parts of your field. It's not about how to write shows, it's just how to look at things in different ways. So to start, now we're in 3D mode. If you click on the 3D glasses, you change to a normal view. That's an overhead view. Click on the glasses to go to 3D. Click on the glasses again to go to normal overhead mode. If you click the plus sign, you zoom in. If you click the minus sign, you zoom out. All these colors can be changed, by the way. All your background here, your field color, all your lines and the colors of these numbers, even the colors of your scale down here. This scale, by the way, if you click on the scale, it takes you to a different part of the show. The stripes in the scale on the top half are telling you where the different pictures are, where your form sets are. Every place that a stripe changes color, that's where there's another formation starting, another picture. The bottom is showing where your songs end and begin. Anyway, you can also click on these up here. See, every picture is a different frame up here. See, I'm just clicking on these and it's taking me to different pictures. And when you hover over this, it will tell you the step. Step 32. You hover over this, step 100. You click on it, goes to step 100. You click on here to scroll through. If you have more pictures on your right, more pictures on your left, you click on the buttons on the end. See, this is your first picture. There's more on the right. So you click on the arrow here that's taking you to more pictures. Then you can click on that frame to go to the picture. Click on the left arrow to go back. Okay, the minus sign zooms you out, the plus sign zooms you in, equal sign takes you right to the normal view. Okay, equal sign takes you to the full screen. Now, this slider tool with the four-headed arrow, you can slide things around. See, like that? The slider tool slides you around. Now, if you hold the shift key down, you can zoom in and out. Here's how that works. The way I was zooming in there, if you hold the shift key down and drag to the right with the left button, it zooms you in. If you hold the shift key down and drag to the left with the left button, it zooms you out. It sounds complicated, but once you tried it a couple of times, it becomes very, very simple. And see, when you're zoomed in like this slider tool is really useful because you can use this and slide your view around and bring different parts of the field into focus. See how that works? So again, you drag left to zoom out, and you drag right to zoom in. And you hit the equals button to go back to the normal view. I've got this window sized a little bit smaller so it'll fit on your browser window. Ordinarily, if you hit equal sign, you'll see your whole field with the numbers and everything. I've got this whole window sized a little smaller for making videos. So you would hit the zoom out button a couple more times. This tool lets you drag a box. So if you have the hand tool with the finger, drag a box with the finger and you zoom in on that part. If you want to zoom in on these two, drag a box around them and you zoom in on them. Equal sign to go back out, drag a box to zoom in. You can zoom in some more, zoom in a lot. So those are the zoom tools in the slider, which is really, really important. The slider tool is super, super useful. Remember, you can use that to zoom out. Here's how we zoom out, by dragging left. So you can gradually zoom out. And I talked about clicking on the frames to go to different parts of the show. You probably already know that your scale down at the bottom, see where I'm pointing in the scale at the bottom, if you drag on that, it will animate you through the show. Depending on how fast you're moving, you can even move back and forth like this and see parts of it over and over. You see what I'm doing there? I'm just dragging on this. Now, you'll notice there aren't any scroll bars visible. Some people like scroll bars. I don't like them. I like to use the slider. If you want to move around, use the slider. But if you want to see the scroll bars, go up to View. All the way down here, you have some different things. You can actually make your history panels go away. See, they're gone now. Now you have more room for the show. I like to see the history panels, but not everybody likes these history panels, so if you don't want to see them, just click on that and now they're gone. You can show the scroll bars. If you have a scroll bar here, you can scroll. See, there's nothing to scroll now because we have the whole view. If you zoom in plus plus plus. Now we're zoomed in. Now see, the scroll bar is going to let you scroll up and down. You drag the scroll bar. See, the scroll bar on the right drags you up and down. The scroll bar on the bottom will drag you back and forth. I don't really like the scroll bars because you don't really need them. You can use the slider to move around, and that way you can turn off the scroll bars and it gives you more room. And I just think you don't really need them, so I turn them off. But it's your choice. You have a choice to turn them on or turn them off. Other things, show paths. This is when people are moving, it'll show their path in the past. In other words, it'll show where they've been. So if you go to show paths, it's going to show you the path where it came from. These are kind of hard to see because they're sort of a faint color right now. So you're not really seeing much about the paths. We'll talk about that more later. That isn't really mostly what this is about. It's mostly about going to different parts of the view. So we talked about turning the history panels off, the scroll bars. You can show the captions. If you hit that, now you're seeing the numbers on the people come up, which is useful sometimes for telling people apart. And you can do a lot more with those, and we'll talk about all the options for showing the numbers. But the point is, on the view, you can turn them off. Showcast captions, if you click it, turns them off. And also, I is a shortcut. All of these menu items have shortcuts. Not all of them have shortcuts, but if they do, they're on here. So you see that the letter I is a shortcut. So if you actually click on I, it'll turn your captions on and off just by typing with the I key. Okay, so we talked about the zoom tools, we talked about the scroll bars, we talked about moving around, let's talk about 3D some more. Now we're in 3D. You click the glasses to go to 3D. Now you got your slider tool. You already know that the slider tool will slide your screen around. You already know you can use it to zoom in like this. Or drag left to zoom out. The point is that you have the shift key down. Now, that's all with the left button of the slider tool. Now, if you use the right button of the slider tool, you can rotate your view like this, and you can move it up and down. You can do all that with your slider tool. So it's a lot to do with one tool. By the way, in 3D, this scale over here is your height. So this little gray bar shows where you're at in your height. If it's at the bottom, you're showing it real low. At the top, it's real high, and you can drag it and you see it changing as you drag it. That's your scale on your right. It's not a scroll bar, it's the height for 3D. And if you're not in 3D, you don't see it. If you're in 3D, now it appears. This one at the bottom also only appears when you're in 3D, and it's your rotation. Again, this shows your center line. The gray bar shows where you're at. The center line is you're looking at the front of the field. If you want to rotate it, see the back, you drag it over here, drag over here to rotate it the other way. You can just get a different view of it. This is your height. Now the slider tool with the right key, with the right mouse button, you're dragging with the right mouse button to rotate it and move it up and down at the same time. So you can do both of those things and get sort of views like that. This is your sort of your focal length. You can look at this as this would be like a telephoto lens. It's a very flat view. You see how that looks. move the scale all the way down here, now you get an exaggerated view. It's sort of more like a fisheye lens type view. You can kind of see how that works. If you're looking dead on, this also gives you like a narrower field, or you can this sort of exaggerates the height of the field a little bit. See how that works? So you have a choice there. And this scale over here does that. All of that stuff is only in 3D. So we've talked about 3D, turning it on, turning it off. We talked about all the different things you can do with this slider tool. We talked about different ways to zoom in. The pictures go back. The P is for picture. A picture is a bunch of formations on one step. The P goes to the next one. The backwards P goes back. The footprint goes to the next step. The back footprint goes back a step. You know about your play buttons. Plays your music if you have music. We'll talk about how to put music on songs. So you know you have play, stop, rewind. We talked about the scales on the sides. We talked about this scale down here, works in 3D. We talked about this tool that's a box tool, by the way. It works in 3D or overhead view. See, in 3D we can zoom in like that. You hit the equals to zoom back out, hit the plus to zoom in. All this stuff works in 3D or overhead view. Works the same way. So this box, you drag a box to zoom in. If you're in 3D, works the same way. You drag a box to zoom in. So we talked about some of the view things that you can turn on the history panels, turn them off. You can turn your scroll bars. The scroll bars also work in 3D. If you're in 3D, you see you have your slider over here for your height. You also have a scroll bar beside it. You have a scroll bar down here for going back and forth. See how that works? You're scrolling back and forth. You could still do the same thing with your slider tool. I think the slider tool is better. But the scroll bar is there. Your scale for motion is here. This is a status bar. It's telling you what step you're on. See how that works? Whenever you change, this is telling you what step you're on. It's telling you what song you're on. This is your rotation side to side. So you can really, I don't think you need the scroll bars. You can turn them off if you want to. I think that's enough to talk about for this lesson. We'll talk about some other topics in the other lessons.